The new Slingermobile, everybody. 2020 has not slowed me down. It's only speeding me up. This is a new Range Rover the wifey and I picked up just a day or two ago. The thing's a beauty. I don't know what it's called. I think it's called like a Westminster. I think there's only a few of these things in the country. At least that's what they told us. Who knows? They tell all kinds of stuff to rich people to get them to buy more shit, right? So my wife previously had a Range Rover that was a Range Rover Sport, which had a lot of power, and the thing was just super badass. I bought it for her 40th birthday, and it's something that we both treasured, we both loved, and we held on to for a few years. But this is a 2020 Range Rover, and I'll have you take a look on the inside here. We have a lot of extra room. The wheel well is a lot longer on this one, and so there's a lot of space in here. I don't know how all this stuff works. It's all like mechanical, and we were moving some stuff around in here, but show you the back over here. It's got tons of cameras on it and stuff. My wife and I, we love our Teslas. I got a black one. She has a white one, so we still have those. We still kept those. But this has, you know, plenty of space, plenty of room for when we travel to Bodega Bay or we travel to Tahoe. It's also four-wheel drive, and we're just super excited about it. It's got a lot of cool features to it that we're still learning. There's a lot of technology on this thing, so that'll take some getting used to. I wish I knew some of the specs on it and everything, but the thing has some crazy pickups, some crazy powerful. I haven't tested it, but it goes up to about 170 on the speedometer there. I have gone 110 in it just to kind of get an idea of it, get this crazy backup camera, and obviously a lot of cars have backup cameras, but this thing's got all kinds of different stuff that I don't even know what I'm doing with it yet. Let me take you for a little cruise in it. Here we go. You know, what are the things that you would like to get from your life? Like, what are the things that you want? Let's take you back to a time when Mark Smelly Bell was broke, when I had insufficient funds, when I went to look into my, you know, I know what that's all. I know what that's all about. I know what that life is like. I remember that life. I remember I would put $20 into my account, you know, or $25 into my account, and there wouldn't even be $25 in there because I had overdraft fees from previous times, you know. And I remember going to the bank and seeing those numbers, you know, seeing that I had $36 in my account but owed somebody $150 for something, or, you know, whatever it was. But you can make the life that you want to make, but I think you also need to be reasonable about it. You need to be intentional. What I mean about reasonable is most of these people, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, on a much smaller degree, Mark Smelly Bell, when you talk to a lot of these people, they're not going to say like, oh, I had this goal of, you know, making this crazy fortune. Usually what they're going to tell you is they had a goal to do something that seemed pretty neat or seemed pretty cool that they could parlay or turn into some sort of monetization. The key ingredient to being really super duper pooper scooper good at something, the single greatest factor is that you stick to this thing for a long period of time. And then the single greatest factor associated with sticking to something for a long time is whether you like it or not. So if you don't like your job, that's not to say you can't be a millionaire and even a multi-millionaire on a job that you don't like. You can be successful despite that, because you could be intelligent in that way, or you could provide a service that is good enough that you can make $100,000 a year, $250K a year, $500,000 a year, whatever that number is. But how much more? And when I say more, I'm not just talking about the money now. I'm talking about a combination of money, overall, like wealth, your happiness in life, and the culmination and combination and collaboration of having a kick-ass life with money. That's really where the richness comes in. That's really where the wealth comes in. Because if you can escape a job, I say escape, if you can escape a job where you make, let's say, minimum wage. The new minimum wage nowadays, you'll make about $30K a year, right? 32K, I think I did some of the math, 31K with Biden's new thing where he upped the minimum wage a little bit. You have a minimum wage job and you make 30K, you work your way up the corporate ladder a little bit in that business, and you work your way towards, let's say, 50K, which is great. You increased your pay by a pretty nice chunk, right? But let's say that you have another option for another revenue stream that really doesn't seem like it's that promising, but it's something that you really, really enjoy. And you're going to go back down to that 30K. Well, you already know that you know how to live off that 30K because you've done it before. So I say get the hell away from that 50K job that you have, because of what you're going to be able to become through doing something that you actually like. If you can do something that you like, to me, that's the magic ingredient. That's the magic pill. That's what everyone is really looking for. I'll give you another example. You guys know someone by the name of John Cena? You know, you can't see him. You know that guy that you can't see? John Cena? John Cena finally made it into WWE after many, many years of plugging away. And he was doing really well. He just wrestled on a WrestleMania card. He was kicking ass. He and I were having some conversations back and forth. He said, "How are things going for you?" I said, "Dude," I said, things are really smooth. And I flipped the conversation back on him again because he just wrestled at WrestleMania. And I was in wrestling as well. I didn't have the success that John ended up enjoying, obviously. But I was congratulating him, and I wanted to make sure the story was on him. Make sure like our conversation at that moment was about him, because it was a goal for both of us to one day wrestle at WrestleMania, and what kid doesn't want to wrestle in WrestleMania? So super pumped, super excited for him. So John, being John, he deflects back to me and says, "No, dude, like, how are you doing? Like, don't give me this bullshit. Like, I'm not more important than you. We're friends and so forth." And I said, "You know what, John?" I said, I'm doing great. I said, "I just got done coaching my first football season, and yesterday we won a championship, and I'm so proud of the kids that I'm coaching, and so proud of the effort they put in the weight room. And I'm a defensive line coach, and along with a strength coach at the time. And this is before Slingshot got big and all these different things." And John's like, he's like, "I'm not kidding you when I tell you this." He's like, "I would trade places with you in a second." He's like, "If I could go and do that, that would be amazing." And obviously he could go and do that, but his point is that his life at that moment didn't have, and you hear people talk about balance, you should have balance. Some people say you shouldn't have balance. But when you have balance and you have fulfillment and you can put time and effort into other people, along with still sustaining your life and still having a good, comfortable life, that is the magic right there. You don't have to make millions of dollars. You don't need to have a beautiful kind of one-of-a-kind Range Rover, although it helps. It does feel good. I got to tell you guys, like, it feels awesome. Carlos is like, "Hey, when did you get that?" And I'm like, "I got it the other day." And my brother, same thing. He pulled up to the gym, and like my brother and I, we see each other nearly every day. He's like, "I didn't know you got a new car." I was like, "Oh yeah," like, because it's just this is just part of stuff nowadays. It's not. I'm not going to go around and tell everybody like, "Hey, I did this or I did that." I don't even know how to shut the car off. You can see how complicated some of this is, but you can have all the things that you want. They're right there for you. You get to set up this life for yourself. My son and I got into some great conversation the other day, and we were talking about how things are made up. Like, the world didn't come with boundaries and borders and things like that. We made them up. And that's a really important thing to know. Like, the border between Canada and the United States. Some dude at some point said, "Hey, this is the line." And that's the line. Somebody made that up. If somebody can make that up, that if you're over here, you're in Canada, or you're over here and you're in the United States, and this is the line, then what are you capable of making up? What are you capable of doing? Like, that seems to be pretty significant, that when you're here, you have different rules than over here, different laws than, if you're here, you got different laws. If you're over here, you got different laws. The economy, everything's different from one line to the other. That some dude decided on some day, he planted a flag there or whatever and said, this is the way shit is, right? Another thing to think about, and this is weird too, my son and I, he's going to be 17 at the end of this month. I'm super proud of him to be able to get in conversations with him like this, but he said that nothing is man-made. And this is a really weird topic, and some of you guys are probably fans of this kind of philosophy, but he said nothing is man-made. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? And he said, well, pretty much things are just discovered. And so we got talking about that topic a little bit more, and you guys can think that through a little bit more. It's not necessarily true, but it is a good point that most things are just made up. Our imagination isn't necessarily more powerful than knowledge, because without knowledge, it's hard to have an imagination. You can't really think that well or that deep if you're not that smart. So the two need to collaborate a little bit. They need to come together a little bit. But I want you guys to think about, what could you think about? What people ask me what I do, and I tell them that I have an invention. Their next question is usually like, so you don't work? I mean, I do work, but I choose to work. I don't have to work. I want you to think about that a little bit. I had one idea, okay, and I have made stuff around it, and everything that you see at Slingshot, all the way from the t-shirts to the beanies to this hat. Try not. All these things are my creations, right? And it's because I wanted to monetize the entire thing, and I wanted everything to kind of go together. But basically, my wealth comes from one source. It comes from a slingshot. It comes from that one thing, and there's been knee sleeves and other iterations of other things. But if I never made the slingshot, none of it would exist. What you got? What you got? What you got that's inside here? I know you got something, because it's my belief that everyone has something special in them. I know you hear this here and there from certain people, but I'll even go a step further and say that I think that everyone has divinity in them. Everyone has almost like a godlike feature if they know how to tap into it the right way. You have something in you right now. Let's say that you have a 500-pound bench in you, right? That's a little lower than what I've done in my lifting career. But is that going to prevent you from being the next fitness superstar? You just need one thing. I realize 500-pound bench is pretty big, so it doesn't even have to be that big. Could you just be really fit? Could you just be in really good shape? Could you just have a lot of knowledge on training and become? Look at Gunnar Peterson. Gunnar Peterson, another good friend of mine, lives in Beverly Hills in a beautiful mansion, a big ass mansion. He's everyone's celebrity trainer. Whenever someone needs to get in shape for a movie, they go to him. And he lives in a big ass mansion, and he's got Rolls Royces and stuff like that. Unbelievable. What's inside of him? What was inside of him when he was young? He's athletic, he exercises, but he's not your prototypical freak athlete that had these, crazy attributes. But here he is training some of the best athletes in the world. Here he is working with some. Maybe he just had the gift of gab. Maybe he's just a good people person. Maybe he's just funny. Maybe that's it. Maybe he's just funny. Maybe look at Joe Rogan. Look what Joe Rogan did. The list of people that we can sit here and name, you will have to, if you want to be a success and you want to be successful, you're going to have to dig in there real deep. But I'm telling you that it's in there. It's already in there. All the shit that people ever gave you, all the times people ever made fun of you, all the times people told you were fat, people told you you're the wrong color, you're the wrong height, you're not smart enough, whatever the enoughs, not enoughs, whatever all these things were that you've been told, the key part of that story is the fact that you ever bought into it in the first place. You can't ever buy into it. Because for every flaw that you have some sort of redeeming quality that is like a giant burning light, and it's waiting to get out of you. And you just need to keep dusting yourself off, and you need to find that shit. It's in there somewhere. I may have attributes about me that are special, but so do you, is my point. So somebody might say, oh, well, you know, The Rock, he's a really special person. You know, The Rock is 6'5", you know, he was born with some great attributes. You know, he's just done a lot with it. Like, you gotta tip your hat. You gotta tip your hat to somebody like that. He's just done a lot with it. Are there other people that are 6'5"? Are there other people that are good looking? Are there other people that are in good shape? There's a lot. But he's done what? He's done the most with it, right? It's time for you to start doing the most with what you got. And you can own a Range Rover. You can own some fat cribs in Bodega Bay and Tahoe. This kind of stuff it makes everything worth it. It makes all the work, all the different things that I do, it makes it all worth it. All these videos that I shot, I've edited 1,000 videos myself. I did 100 videos last year for World Carnivore Month. A lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money, a lot of resources go into even just filming these. I don't need to make this video to make more money. I'm making these things for you guys, because I went through a lot of different things. I went through a lot of heartache. I went through a lot of pain. I invested a lot of time and fell flat on my face millions of times. And on top of that, I didn't really have the internet, but I had people around me that helped me. And so I always thought to myself, you know what? When I get the chance, I'm going to help as many fucking people as I can. Because these people before me, these people in the gym that would help me, my brothers would help me with training. My brother Chris he's been there for everything. My dad, along with just friends, people that just wanted to help. I just want to assist and help people too, because it feels amazing. It's really empowering. And maybe for some of you that are struggling, maybe for some of you that had a rough 2020 and things haven't taken off yet in 2021, maybe like the interpretation of what I just shared with you and what I just said to you should also be thought of, oh yeah, well, Mark gave away a lot of free content for years and years and years and years. And then he ended up lucky, right? Maybe these are the things that you should think about, and maybe if you start investing your time, energy, and effort into other people, like my original story when I was talking about coaching those kids in high school and helping them win a playoff game, maybe you'll feel really fulfilled, and maybe you'll be moving forward without even noticing it. Moving forward, moving in the right direction, working your ass off without even realizing how taxing or how hard it is, because it's so rewarding and it feels so good to you because you like it that much. Strength is never weakness. Weakness is never strength. Thank you guys so much. Catch you all later.